Welcome back everybody to another MOTOBOB video from Motorcycle Live 2025, and this time we're at the Triumph stand with them launching, they say, 29 new and updated motorcycles over the next few months. So in this video we'll do a walk around of the stand and show you some of our favourite bikes for the new model year. So kicking us off, we've got their new TXP Electric Trials lineup after they bought Ossa a couple of years back and they were running it as a separate brand. For 2026 though, it's under the main Triumph brand, and you've got a few different versions, from this smallest one around 1,500 quid, which is of course for kids but fits me perfectly as well, right up to the bigger bike in the lineup at 3.5-ish grand, and that's for teenagers and above. I'm thinking I need a little more preload on the rear here, but otherwise this could be a lot of fun. And you can ride these at the Adventure Centre in Wales, so that's probably a great way to sample what they're capable of. Now behind me we've got the new 400XC version of their Scrambler. This is a brilliant little bike. It's not substantially different to the X, but it just looks a little more rally ready with a vibrant paint job and also a bit more bodywork and the spoke wheels. I rode this recently at the Adventure Centre, really enjoyed it, and so do check out that video if you like that sort of stuff. And yeah, this is a great way to get started in the Scrambler lineup, with it being the most manageable and lightweight and probably the least intimidating. One of the most substantial updates for 2026 though is to this, the Scrambler 900, which is formerly known as the Street Scrambler. We've got a new upside down fork that replaces the right way up fork of the previous gen, new piggyback shocks as well, an upgraded front brake with a 4-pot radially mounted caliper, a new dash which is part LCD and part TFT, and also an inertial measurement unit for lean sensitive ABS and traction control. They've also changed the look a bit. It looks a little more modern, perhaps not to everybody's taste, but I will say I think it looks very nice in the flesh, and I'm really looking forward to testing this one out on the press launch next month in California. So if you're a Scrambler fan like myself, do keep your eyes peeled for that review. The biggest sibling though in this Scrambler lineup is the 1200XE. Super tall, really capable. It's got the big 1200 version of their Bonneville parallel twin. For 2026 it gets some new paint jobs. I love this tank with the khaki green, the gold stripe, the off-white as well. It looks really nice in the flesh. And also they've reverted the suspension to its original setup. So the first gen of this bike had a Showa fork, a pair of Öhlins shocks, and then they updated it with Marzocchi suspension front and rear. Now Triumph said in their testing it performed every bit as well, but I think there was still a little bit of displeasure in the motorcycle or Triumph community, let's say, as it was seen as a bit of a downgrade. For 2026 though, it's back on the Showa fork, it's back on the Öhlins shocks. And look, I don't expect it to ride substantially different, but I do understand that the Öhlins logo on the shocks does add a little bit of prestige, and so I can kind of understand it. Now, there are plenty of other updates to the Bonneville lineup for 2026, including the T100 and T120, and I'm glad to say that they haven't really messed with these too much, because in my opinion, they are pretty much retro motorcycle perfection. So most of the tweaks are under the hood, like the IMU for the lean sensitive rider aids. There's a new LED inner for the headlight as well. They've stashed a little USB-C port as well under the clocks, but ultimately they've stuck with the very retro aesthetic and also the twin clocks in the cockpit, which I think are, you know, very beautiful indeed and should never be messed with. There are new paint options as well, not only for the T120 but the T120 Black. Yeah, but otherwise this update is quite simple, but exactly as it should be. Now, I've got a T120, and one of the things that I really enjoy about it is just how easygoing and comfortable it is. But if you do want a Bonnie engine but in an even more relaxed chassis and riding position, then you might want to choose from either the Bobber over there or this one, the Speedmaster. Now, both get a few tweaks for 2026. New paint, of course. That blue on the Bobber looks fantastic. I like this red as well. Aluminium rims, so slightly lighter. They might be a little lighter on their feet as well. They get the IMU, but also some tweaks to the comfort. So the seat on the Bobber is a little wider. And this bike, the Speedmaster, the previous generation, had very swept back beach cruiser style bars, which I think maybe felt a little unusual to some riders. These ones, they're still swept back a little bit, but not quite as much, and so it's maybe a more familiar riding position to a wider range of riders. One of the bikes at the absolute top of my list, though, to review for 2026 is this, the new Trident 800, which is effectively the Trident 660 but on steroids. It's got the 800 version of their inline triple. I've tried that in the Tiger Sport 800. It's bags of fun. You've got more adjustability in the suspension as well. You've got upgraded radial front brakes. But on top of that as well, it does look somewhat similar to the 660, but just a little more exciting and sporty with the gold wheels, the fly screen, the belly pan, and also a more aggressive tail section. So I'm expecting this one to be a massive hit this year, especially judging by the reaction in the comments of our videos. And I think a big factor in that is the price at just over £9,000. Now, over in the adventure section of the Triumph stand, we've got a couple of updates for the 900 and 1200 Tigers. Both are now available in an Alpine edition and a Desert edition, with the Alpine edition for the GT, more road bias variants, and the Desert for the Rally, more off-road bias variants. So with each, you get a special finish. You can see the Alpine in the white here behind me. But also you get a little bit of extra spec, like the Akropovich silencer being thrown in on both of the 900s, and also for the 1200s you now get the rear-facing radar as standard. That means you've got blind spot warnings and also lane change assist, and while previously that was only available on the top dog 30-litre tank Explorer variants, well, this is a good way to get your hands on that tech if you just want the regular 20-litre tank versions of the Tiger 1200. Triumph also had a bit of an exclusive for Motorcycle Live this year with the announcement of these two new bikes, the RX version of the Street Triple and also an update to the Moto 2 edition. Both are more track focused, let's say, than the standard RS version of the Street Triple, with an upgraded NIX30 Öhlins fork, more shock length at the rear so it gives you a steeper steering angle, and also they fitted them both with clip-on style bars so you can get into a proper aero tuck. On top of that, there's a slightly elevated level of finish as well, so that billet top yoke looks fantastic in the cockpit. The RX gets the red wheels, the grey bodywork, so it looks a little like the 675 version of the RX. But for me, the creme de la creme is that Moto 2 version with their Triumph Racing yellow and also a bit of carbon on the front mudguard, the belly pan and the side panels. It is about $14,500. It's limited to 1,000 units globally. But I guess if you like the technical updates and you care less about the finish, then the RX is there at a lower price point and without being a limited run. So that rounds off our favourite bikes from the Triumph stand for 2026. It's worth pointing out, though, they've got 29 new and updated bikes, like I say, for the new model year, and some of those are still to come. So if you're not subscribed and you want to see all the details as soon as it's available, then do hit subscribe and keep your eyes peeled for those. We'll put our playlist on the screen as well, which has got all of our Motorcycle Live content in case you missed any. A massive thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you in the next video.